Hello everyone, this is RaySpace and welcome back to Realism Overhaul Sandbox and Kerbal Space Program 1.12. Recently I tested out the Mars Star Lander for Mars, obviously, and it was a little bit troublesome. It wasn't working out quite the way I wanted it to, and so that brought me back to a previous idea that was a little bit more reliable, and that's this heat shield lander, special heat shield which deploys and allows the engines to sort of blast through here, and also has ramps that act as landing legs in this case. And the drills for ISRU, that's in situ resource utilization, deploy like that. So one of the ramps the Kerbals can go down on, and the others are for drills, or two of them are for drills, so that we can replenish the fuel in the center. That's the gold foil part. The center portion has hydrogen and oxygen, and ultimately the habitat portion, that's the one around here, gets left on the surface while the center portion with the pod goes back into orbit. And so that's their ascent vehicle. The whole thing is a descent vehicle, and that's how it works. These are combination air brakes and radiators. Technically the radiator portion should be on top. I haven't done that yet, but the radiators are necessary for the in situ resource utilization, the ISRU production, because it's converting the ore we drill for into hydrogen and oxygen, and that takes a lot of power, but it also generates a lot of heat. So we will have these as radiators. They have the radiator module on it. They just don't have the radiator look. But they also act as air brakes. The air brake portion, really, they just need to have extra surface area. I don't think the heating is much of a big deal at all. So, yeah. Those are there, and actually I ultimately want them at a deploy angle of 90 degrees. So, let me save that. Got RCS thrusters that run on hydrogen and oxygen. The engines at the bottom of the Ascent vehicle, which are also used for part of our entry into Mars atmosphere, are BE7s from Blue Origin. So those are real engines, no fancy fake engines in this case. And the pod is the Lynx Neo spacecraft. It is just the lander version of it, so it's very lightweight. It's not meant to do a full entry or anything like that. It should be properly shielded thanks to the hab there. And then on the way up it just needs to be rather thin, so that it's not creating any drag in the atmosphere. I mean, the atmosphere is pretty thin around Mars, but still it's best not to have extra drag. So anyway, let's take a look at how this all works. I've tested it in a form before, but this is a little bit more developed, and we're going to be trying to land in a particular spot here. So let's take it outside and see if that works out. I've already tested it out a little bit during live streams. There's been pluses and minuses to that, so hopefully I've fixed some of that. So we're just tossing it into Mars orbit first via the cheat menu, and then we'll test entry. So the location that I am aiming for is one that has ore. That's important. So we have the target coordinates there. We know that that area there, as part of Valles Marineris, has ore. Now, one peculiar thing about all this is that I've checked out the height at other locations around, like at the bottom of Valles Marineris and the top of Mount Olympus, and at least my height map for Mars does not seem to have much height. It seems like everything is in a range of about 3 kilometers. And so things aren't as low or as high as they ought to be, and that's probably causing me some trouble as far as the landings are concerned, because the lower things are, the thicker the atmosphere is, and the easier it is to slow down. But even the bottom of Valles Marineris, I've already tested it out just by looking at the landing guidance above sea level number, it's just about 30 kilometers. So, and then the top of Mount Olympus is like 31 kilometers. So, and then random other places are 34. So something about the height map is just not right. I've cheated into an orbit that is in line with Phobos's orbit, and we basically have to go around to the other side And about 116, 117 degrees east is where we should deorbit. But yeah, I'm wondering what's up with the height. That tank is locked because we wanted to underfuel, but there are tanks that are available for the hydrogen and oxygen. That's the decoupler. Oh, maybe. Oh, enable crossfeed through this decoupler, I guess. I'm gonna aim for 42 kilometers. So here we go. There they are. It's a 40-ish ton lander. At least underfueled it is. 45 tons fully fueled. But it could theoretically carry some extra supplies or something. It's not meant for them to live in long term. The HAB portion is just for them to work on the ISRU, really. You know, imagine bunks and then the ISRU unit, and that's basically what we have room for. So ideally they would have another habitat on the surface that they can go to. No, well, we need to close this up. And we are in the atmosphere coming down. Now, one annoying thing that happens is that the parachutes come out at different times. The ones that are paired up, the drogue chutes in their pair, one comes out before the other, so it always rocks the thing no matter what I do. I've tried to put them in line here, and previously I had even rolled it so that they were at the same height. Somebody suggested that during the live stream. So this way, you know, they will detect the same height at the same time. That didn't work either. I'll do it again, but it does not seem like that's the issue. Aside from this and the Mars Star, I do have other landers that I could use for Mars. I've got the Mini Q, which is the smaller version of the Maro Q. And I had a few other ideas, but which one ends up being part of the TIPA timeline as the first one used by the TIPA countries? Of course, there's SpaceX's Starship. SpaceX would presumably use that, and whatever Chinese would end up using, I'm not sure, but they'll have their own too. So, but for the TIPA countries, which one is the one that is most likely to happen? That's the question. Okay, we are in daylight now. And as far as how far off we're getting, well, we're getting a little bit further off. We're falling a little bit short. I'm gonna try to have it tilt, and that ends up being a yaw. So we're gonna try and get some lift, but it's not gonna be super effective. It's all about setting the retroburn point exactly right, basically. It's falling a lot more short than I thought we would be. Now, in previous tests, we were able to hold 20 degrees, but suddenly it's been a lot harder. I'm wondering if a different roll orientation would help it a little bit. Like one where things are like this. Then it's not yaw anymore, is it? Oh, now it seems to. Yeah, it doesn't like holding the roll at the same time. Okay, well, we're probably not going to be going slow enough. So I'm gonna deploy it and get ready to use the engines. Gonna lighten up on that a little bit. And firing the engines. Now, the parachutes would normally come out at 8 kilometers, the drogue chutes would. but I haven't armed them yet. Okay, that's enough. 0. And then arming them. And again, they just come out whenever they feel like, really. One at a time. It's always one at a time. Now, unlike with the Mars star, they hold in this case. Same speeds. But it's apparent that even though in the VAB it tells me, oh, we've configured the parachutes properly for this thing, it hasn't configured the parachutes properly for the thing. For the much heavier Mars star. So, yeah. That's basically the problem that's going on. It just doesn't configure the parachutes right. Main chutes are out. Anyway, so we fell short by that distance, presumably around 450 kilometers. Okay, starting the engines. The parachutes are not good enough to just land us on Mars. That's never how that works. Oh. Bad timing on that, but alright, we're safe. Okay, so now time to get resources. Hopefully this location does have them. Well, I action group the drills. So now those flaps are radiators. Oh, they're floating a little bit further out there. I need to make the hinge and stuff proper. Okay, we're getting ore, and I've already turned on the converter. So we've got the ISRU converter somewhere in here. Oh, it's right at the bottom now. Okay, I never started the fuel cell, but we've got a generator, so I'm going to deploy the reactor. The reactor goes out there, probably further away would be best, but didn't want to animate that much. Okay, so it looks like a fuel cell would be handy right now too, at least until we've topped it off. Okay, so now the drills are working, we're getting ore, we're converting it to hydrogen and oxygen. The radiators are working too, cooling 70% there. I'll work on the visuals later, and we will time warp, but not past this point. As we go along, the oxygen amount that we get stays stable, but the hydrogen one diminishes over time because of the heat. It gets a boost when the oxygen is done. Now it's not really done, we still have a locked tank here. Unlocking these. Now that the power is topped off, I probably don't need the fuel cell. It probably wouldn't replenish the hydrogen and oxygen this quickly. Probably be a little bit slower. It depends on whether we're drilling directly into ice or not. Here we are pretending it's just straight up ice. Okay, we are fully fueled. Now's the part that I wasn't able to do during the live stream. You will see. The getting back to orbit part. Also, I need probably solar panels on this thing. Okay, well, I don't need landing guidance. Do need this decoupler at the right time. I don't want to do it during staging. Gonna prep the RCS thrust. Well, maybe I should just do it during staging like that. Hopefully that'll work. I'm gonna save it. Execute that. RCS on. And throttle up and go. Oh no, we got caught. We got caught. Okay, hold on. Maybe we can free ourselves. No, it gets caught. No, okay, hold on. Um, gosh darn it. Okay, you. Jettison heat shield. Oh, shoot. Okay, things are getting complicated here. Okay, oh, it's still caught on there. No. Go away. Oh, finally we're free. Okay. Well, I'll have to work on that. The hab portion was supposed to still be sort of operational as an ISRU unit that we could hook up to later, but let's not focus on that right now. Okay, so we've flattened out here, trying to reach orbit. Should have enough delta V, despite the weird things that were happening. Of course, it's meant to not just get into orbit, but also rendezvous with stuff, so... And I did omit the solar panels so far, so we need to have those on too. But clearly this tankage needs to be developed, but I think it's because I scaled up the habitat thing from the original 8.4 meter diameter to 10 meter diameter. That might have done something weird with the colliders, or the colliders didn't go along with that scaling. I'll have to check. Usually it goes along with the tweak scaling, obviously. So I don't know why we had a separation issue, but... Okay, a bit lopsided, but I'll let it go. Okay, we are in orbit, a little bit high on the apoapsis, but that could be useful in certain cases. 473 meters per second, very light. They're not meant to spend a whole lot of time in this thing. It's basically an enlarged Apollo lander can, and I think there are only 3 in here. There isn't even a valve. So, yeah. That's the positive side of all this. The negative side of this system is that it really doesn't have any cargo space, unlike the Mars Star, which had a cargo ramp and certainly had the ability to give us some cargo room. But this is more reliable, and I actually managed to test it properly, so that's helpful. And it's lighter overall, because it's just this little pod, basically, as opposed to the whole Mars Star thing. So, which one is better? Well, this one is probably what they would use first, but there are other ideas that we could pursue, and I'll see about those. Also, as far as cabins are concerned, I'm curious to see what would happen if we put the cabin from the Blue Origin Blue Moon version 2 lander on. Now that will be heavier, of course, but we could slap it on and maybe size things up a little bit more and see if we can manage things. But that'll be a test for another day. So this has been what I normally call the heat shield lander because of the special heat shield. It doesn't have any particular name right now. This has been a test of that again, and we've still got some kinks to work out as far as the separation from the hab bit, clearly. So I'll work on that. For now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do press like. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them in the comment section below, and I'll see you next time.